crouch to make less sound and sneak up on that horde. He won't get a chance if we get close enough.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Zach Erickson from Nintendo Dads, and today I'm here to talk to you about Rogue Trooper Redux, which is this game right here. By the way, we're trying something a little bit different today for this sort of review impressions sort of video. I recorded a bunch of footage, and I'm just going to talk over it. So, yeah. So Rogue Trooper Redux is, as you can see by this footage that is so gloriously recorded, it is a third-person shooter action game, and so it's apparently I never played Rogue Trooper, the original, but it is apparently a game that has received all sorts of cool awards, BAFTA awards and things like that back in the day, which is really cool. And yeah, so basically you control a blue space marine man, which is pretty awesome. And so as maybe a little bit of background for me, I am not necessarily a shooter type person. I do play Overwatch, but I've always played shooters primarily on PC. And so, and I have played a couple of, I've played Metroid Prime, but I wouldn't even necessarily consider that a shooter. Definitely, it's not a third-person shooter. I mostly have played things like Splatoon and things like that, hence Nintendo Dads being this show and this channel. But I was interested in this game, and it's a very sort of cover-based, it comes from the cover-based mechanic, or the cover-based shooter era, right? So Gears of War, stuff like that, which I never played. So I really don't actually have a whole lot of background in how to contextualize this game, I guess. I don't have a lot of experience with these kinds of games before. So, having said that, this is a very interesting game, and I went and looked at some impressions from other people who have played those kinds of games before, just so that I could kind of relay that information onto you, and at least the ones that I have seen who do have context for this, they actually really enjoyed this. It is what you expect from this kind of game. So Rogue Trooper Redux is I would say like a remake, maybe, but it's almost more of a high-res port. Of course, they've redone all of the assets. They look much better than they did back in the day. However, having said that, it's it still has some of the trappings of maybe a game from that era. For example, I don't think I have showed in this footage, but in some of the footage, the character would animate and his neck wouldn't move, but his head did, almost like it's a pivoting, like it's on an action figure. So like his neck muscles don't move, but anyways, it was a weird animation sort of thing. Overall, I think visually it's good, not great on the Switch. I can't speak to the other versions. I played the Switch version, obviously. As far as the character design and the sort of, it is a realistic, futuristic future sort of thing, if that makes sense. So you're in the future, but you are not. It's not going like super over the top with the high tech sort of stuff. It's very grounded in reality, as we know it today. So it's gritty. It is an army kind of military game, if this kind of thing was going on in whatever year this game takes place, right? So that's something to keep in mind. You're not going to get crazy lasers and cool high tech stuff. It's pretty standard fare. What's cool about the setting of this game is that you play as a guy named Rogue, and he's one of the Blue Man Group. I don't know if he's actually the Blue Man Group, but these are GIs, which are genetic infantrymen, which is, it's a thing. I'll read the description from their website, actually. It says, a pioneering tactical shooter and landmark comic book adaptation, Rogue Trooper is back, remastered and revitalized in true high definition. Experience acclaimed combat and explosive third-person action in this BAFTA-nominated tale of betrayal and revenge at the far reaches of the galaxy. You are the last genetic infantryman, or GI. Bred for war and betrayed by your superiors at the Quartz Zone massacre, you stalk the battlefield as a one-man squad, carrying the sentient biochips of 3 fallen soldiers in your rifle, pack, and helmet. Your mission: fight your way across the chemical-blasted wastes of New Earth, a planet ravaged by an endless apocalyptic war in the search of the traitor general and payback. So very, it's very, you know what you're getting with this, I think, right? Like, it's cool. It's got some shooty. The thing that's cool about this game, just the things that set it apart, is from a story perspective, like it says in here, basically, like, these guys, these GIs have biochips in them, and so, like, your buddy dies on the battlefield in the first mission, and you, like, quickly go and pull his little biochip out of his brain or whatever, plug it into your gun, and suddenly your buddy is your gun. And so he's talking to you the whole time. His name's Gunner. Same thing happens to a guy whose name just happens to be Bagman, or Bagman, whatever. And he ends up being in your bag, which is pretty silly and fun. And then, of course, the helmet as well, right? You've got another buddy in your helmet. And so they each kind of have their own, intelligence and stuff like that. You can, for example, set up your gun as an infantry or as a sentry gun, which is pretty cool. So you can, like, shoot have a sentry and pop that up and shoot around and whatever, which you probably are seeing in some of this footage. And so it's cool. It's a fun game. Here's the thing for me is that the setting is in that it is being both futuristic and realistic in that sort of grittiness. It doesn't really speak to me personally. I really like those, like, I like Splatoon, I like Mario, I like Overwatch, right? Where you're not just taking this sort of a game and you're just putting a coat of realistic paint over it. That was a thing that was a real big. It later became a really big issue, when this game was first released, probably 10, 11 years ago. That sort of thing was in, man. Like, we were in the heyday of Call of Duty. That was like really coming up and was exciting. 10 years in, where we're post Splatoon, we're post Overwatch, post whatever, lots of different things where all the Marvel movies, right, where they've really kind of said, yeah, that's fine if you want to be futuristic and imaginative, but we're going to take it beyond that and make it really exciting and colorful and explosive and visually and creatively interesting. This game really does not age well in that sense, where the creativity, while at the time I'm sure it was really exciting, it kind of falls flat now. And for me personally, as a Nintendo fan, that's really important, right? Like, that is something that really sets Nintendo aside in my mind. And given that it's on the Switch, I'm going to be, I have to hold it at that standard as well in order to take it from good to great. And so, yeah, so I would say, as far as if this is a game that you are interested in from a third person, if this is a kind of game, there's also online modes, which you can do some scenarios and some co-op sort of stuff. You can do, all sorts of stuff like that. It's pretty cool as well. Again, I'm going to say that it is good, not great, right? So, like, what do I want to put this at? Like a 7? 7.5? Like I recognize the I'm gonna say a 7.5. So it's not amazing. It's not gonna blow your socks off, but it's solid, right? And I recognize that. And so if this is something that is for you, if these are the kinds of games that you like, the thing is that this is a pretty unique game on the Switch right now, right? Like, as far as this kind of, like, shooter, classic sort of thing like this, you can't get a whole lot of these on the Switch right now. Yes, there's Splatoon, but that's kind of its own animal entirely. So I would say if you enjoy this kind of game, then give it a shot. It's not too expensive on the eShop. It's where are we here? I could probably look up the score, but I know that it's pretty reasonable at this point. So check it out if you think it's for you. It's for you, and that's great. I don't have any problem with that. It's just, it's not necessarily, it hasn't aged as well as I think we would like. Having said that, it's still great. It's still a competent shooter in that sense, and a good snapshot in history. So, thank you for watching this video, this review, and for if you have any, have you played this game before? Did you know about what it was? Blue Man Group in space? I don't know, man. It's cool. It's let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. And of course, we're going to be doing. We've got other reviews coming up here as well. And check it out, and you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching. Give us a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you next time. Bye.